Hello everyone, how are you? So here we go again. We are still approaching the water tribe, and today I will start to talk a little bit about the families inside of this tribe. So for water tribe, we will find three families, guardian families. They are related with three aspects of the being, and of course, three aspects of water. And they are the guardians of the home, the guardians of the mysteries, and the guardians of dreams. And today we will talk a little bit about these keepers of home, this home feeling. And to start, I think it's important for us to understand a little bit what are or what is these guardians that I talk so much. So for me, guardians are beings, energy, people, or even archetypes that help us to remind about something. Why? Because basically they are the keepers of a wisdom, a information, a technique, a healing, whatever. So they are a kind of guidance energy, but they also dedicate their lives, even with awareness or not, to preserve something, normally an information. So every time that I'm talking about guardians, they are this kind of wisdom that you can find in people, in different beings, or even in some stuffs like books, like some crystal, wherever. Okay, so when they are the keepers of something, normally they have a kind of name, and these families, they are related to the mystery schools in old Egypt. So these keepers are also with a name that help us to remember about a part of ourselves. So the keepers of the home, it's funny, and this was not thinking at all, but they help us to return or to have the awareness to understand what is home for us. And normally, when we talk about home, we think about a house, we think about family, and actually, they ask us to go even deeper. And this deeper could be to go inside of us, looking or recognizing about that home, that sacred space, or even to go even further, no? Because if we go now in a trip to moon, we can perceive that the planet Earth, it's basically our home, no? And then maybe we go in a more detail, we came back to Earth, and maybe we perceive that our country, it's also our home. And then we keep going in this zoom in, and maybe our house, it's this home. Maybe our family, for some people, it's also the feeling of home, no? But then you need to come to your body, because our body, it's also the house for our soul, no? So for me, the Guardians was really amazing to create this connection with them, because they really invite us to look to the ways that we are able to nourish a space of love, a sacred place where we feel safe. And also, with all of these, they invite us to recognize that we are part of everything. But the way that we are able to be everything without get lost, it's to find this sacred place, this home feeling. Also, because this will be the place where we will be able to return if we are tired, if in some way we are afraid of something. So it's also a place to meet again with our divine, with our essence. So the invitation is really to come in and go deeply and deeply in this recognition of this inner temple. And this is also the reason that sometimes I really get confused with these guardians, because I just realize when they are talking about this home and this sensation of being home, it's also about this inner temple where our soul connects with our physical body. And it's very funny because when I start to connect deeply with these guardians, I just realize that they are also the base of the intention of this trip. Why? Because last year, the group in the Egypt trip were dedicated to awake the soul star. And the soul star, it's basically an energetical point that we have more or less 30 centimeters up of our head. And the way that this soul star works, it's not just the connection with our divine or to our higher self, but it's also a kind of star that can point us the north. So this star, the way that she can really work with us, it's through our time. This gland that it's the upper heart, and basically it's the physical spot where, or the physical portal where this energy can work through us. So people that start to channeling, people that start to awake gifts, people that start from nothing to heal, normally it's because this gland was really activated. And this is also the place or the gate, the portal where we can express or connect through that divine. It's basically the door to return home, and through this door we are able to connect with all this divine. But in some way, last year at the end of the trip, we were doing an extra visit to the White Desert, already just with a few people in the group. And from nothing, in the middle of the desert, I just enter in this very crazy process with this part of the group. I always mention them because without what each one were doing was not able for me to really access this information. And the information was, or the question was, where are the Marys that get lost in the desert? And I think I really get mental, because for me it was what Marys and why tree. And then, as we know, Egypt have connections with the constellation that have the name of Marys. Also, it's a place connected with the School of Mysteries from the Magdalens. It's where the school of Isis start to rise, and it's from Isis that we have all the connection with the Marian energy. So for me it was like, what is going on now? So it took me some time to realize that they were not talking about a specific Mary, or in this case 3 specific Marys, but they were talking about aspects of the sacred feminine. Why? Because if we go to the origin of the name Mary or Miriam, you have different variations. The translation, it's the beloved of God. So what we are talking about, it's about this feminine essence, the one that is loved by God, the one that is this channel of love, the divine love. And basically when I start to perceive that they are lost in the desert, it's because basically they forget or they believe they are not able to return home. So when parts of our feminine are afraid, or maybe they lived something, they stop to believe in this connection, maybe they stop to perceive themselves as someone that is divine, they start to run away. They start to escape from this divine. They start to escape from this temple. They start to escape from this source, this divine source. So what happened? It's in this desert of life, they start to activate the masculine, no? The direction. I need to escape. I need to survive. So I just realized that the guardians of home are people that will help this feminine to return to the divine temple. So I realize that some of us are really mad with God. No, I just lived a process last year that I realized in a very specific aspect of my life, I was mad with God. I was not able to accept something that I was living. So it's very easy for us to disconnect with this divine. And when we disconnect from aspects of the divine, what happened is we broke our geometry. So when we broke our geometry, this map that allow us to return home, to return to the totality, to return to this divine place where our soul meets our body, we could have the sensation that we are lost, that we are tired, that our connection is a little bit broke. And the invitation is really to surrender, because it's the feminine energy. And through this surrender, we can really restore the geometry, and step by step, we start to return home. So for me, the biggest wisdom of the guardians of home, it's basically the support, so we can recognize that we are always part of this divine, and it's possible with very unconditional love to return to this temple and to be this beloved of God again. So I perceive this as the big invitation. And to be honest, in Portuguese, I was able to really guide a small meditation to connect us with this aspect. And I not feel so much the energy to guide now in English, but what I invite you is to really perceive if in this moment you are already one of these keepers that are helping other people to return to this sacredness, or if in some way in this moment you can use the guidance or even the wisdom of these guardians to return home. Have a look to your house, have a look to your car, because they are mirrors of this inner house, okay? So it's very important to create this game, not to be correct, not to be wrong, just to realize what is going on inside of you, in your inner world. And also I will give you some questions that are related with all the tasks that we are doing, this preparation to this Egypt trip. Also to let you know, the trip will be from the 28th April to the portal of May, the 5-5. We will end this trip in front of the Sphinx. There's still places available, so if you feel the connection to this trip, you can look at the information in my website. And let me know how are you connecting more with these guardians right now.